in your first experiences, do you see this as the path forward for agriculture, autonomous, or is it going to have a limited scope, do you think, or initially, where do you see it going in the next few years for you?
Well, for us, we're going to follow along here and see where it goes. But yes, I don't think it'll be an all or nothing. Like for us, what I see on our farm is we will have parts of it. We will run autonomous equipment, but we'll still have some manual. Like we'll have an operator in the same area running a manual drill. Maybe it's we're downsizing one of our 90 foots and running 3 dots instead, alongside 2 other 90 foots or a couple of smaller drills. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I still foresee needing an operator in the vicinity. Truthfully, I can see there'll be a day where you'll sit at your desk and you'll send it out and it'll do what it needs to do. You have to do all the preliminary work, map the field, you got to have your prescriptions and everything in place, because it can't make the decisions on the fly whether it should seed in an area or not, or spray or spread fertilizer or whatever it's applying. So definitely I can see it taking off.
Were there any surprises or anything that caught you off guard, sort of in a positive or a negative way, in adapting early on to autonomous vehicles?
I don't know that there's. I mean, we tried to really think and research it before we made a decision, because it was not an easy decision. I don't know that I can say there's any real big surprises. It was kind of a slow introduction for us, because we kind of saw some of the progression along the way. So,
so it was essentially what you were expecting in terms of operating for electric.
Right. Other than the actual specifics interface of doing it. I mean, we had seen somebody else do it in the past, but now we're involved. So I guess we gained a lot of knowledge and understanding, and had a lot more to contribute once we were the ones doing the actual operation of it.
So far, any advice for other people who might be looking at this, or any suggestions you'd have for those that are pondering the question whether they should introduce an autonomous vehicle to their operation at this stage of development?
Well, at this stage, I guess it's not going to replace what people currently do. You can't just change everything over and expect it to it's a definitely different mindset, and it requires more foresight in your planning. Again, year after year that may change. You may be able to do a year of planning, and then the next year will be easier. But it's not something that you need to go into it with an open mind and with a curious mind too, because it's definitely a very different way of operating.
Right. Do you think you'll see a payback from the machine at this stage?
Short term, no. Long term, that's the goal. On our operation, we need more than one machine to start seeing a payback, just for the matter of scale, right? Because even just from the labor standpoint, if we have one person overseeing it and they have to be there full time, that
would be a question, I guess, a lot of people who are thinking for their operation is how many machines, or what is that machine capable of reducing their labor force, or their other operational.
Well, but if you think about it along the way, I mean, auto steer has made it so that I can do a lot more functions sitting in the tractor cab while the tractor's driving itself, right? Now, if we got a 2-mile long field, I can be marketing, I can be making contacts, I can be doing all kinds of stuff, banking, whatever, right? My cell phone is my what used to be a desktop computer, right? So I can do lots of stuff. If I've got lots of sloughs and bush and I'm turning all the time, then I'm limited. And that's where DOT's going to come into play in those situations. Is you can maybe are still physically at the field, but you don't have to be physically operating it unless something happens that you have to deal with. Right.
So it's freeing up your time, allowing you to multitask, I guess, while the machine's doing the manual work of steering itself.
Yeah.
Right.